I
Hey,
hear her joining. Hi.
I hope this works.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for joining, Courtney. I'm super
Oh,
excited.
I have
I was
filters.
play I was playing around with filters too. Some of them are a little weird. I'm like, we need some better filters on IG. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started and jump right in. I'll introduce you and then I'll start asking you all the questions because your life is so interesting and I think everyone should hear about it. I know you've been traveling. I believe you've said it in a few different videos like the last 2 years with your husband. So like I think it's
Yeah.
super huge to like spotlight that. So Courtney is passionate about living a life fully where she can serve her community. She also loves to dream big while setting and crushing her goals, and she hopes that her audience can learn and grow with her. So today I hope you all can learn and grow with her. Like I said, this is part of my Fueled by Faith series where I spotlight women from all walks of life who are really taking risks and living out their best life. So that looks different for every woman, but hopefully through this series, you all can think about what your passions and vision for your life is. So Courtney, let's jump right in. Can you tell me a little bit about your childhood and how it relates to your life today? Did you travel a lot as a child? What did that look like for you?
Yes, so hopefully you can hear me.
I
I
can.
travel full time, so my Wi-Fi is always like hit or miss. I just always like to say that in the beginning. So if I ever sound like a robot, just tell me in the comments below so I can like get into a better spot in the house. But I have been traveling full time for the last, over 2 years now, which is crazy because that was something like you were just saying in my childhood. It was just something I dreamed of. We went from place to place a lot when I was a kid. I at 6 years old, my parents got divorced, so I knew what it was like to go, different places all the time, like different family, even on like holidays, like the holidays coming back, like that just went by. We actually are traveling, so we didn't have like the hustle of like
Mm,
being at home and going from like 20 different people's houses in our family. But when we were younger, with divorced parents and then two different families, I would be going back and forth even on the weekends. So I
wow.
moved a lot. Like we moved a lot in my childhood, a lot up until high school. High school, I got to stay in the same high school, so that was pretty awesome. But I knew from a very young age, like what it was like not to just travel around from like town to town in New Jersey, but my grandparents were down in Florida at one point when I was younger. So I knew what it was like to travel on a plane by myself down to Florida and be like, this is cool. I'm in a different place with palm trees and sunshine. So it was a lot different than New Jersey. And it gave me that feeling of wanting to explore more. So when I entered college, I knew that I wanted to like do something different. So studying abroad was the thing for
Oh,
me.
wow.
Yeah, so I started college I had no idea what the heck I wanted to do with my actual life. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to college to be a teacher. I was like, I cannot be a teacher. Like the first, I was like, that's not me. I'm not a teacher. And then I wanted to go for chemistry, and then I ended up being in finance because I heard people in finance make a lot of money. So that's where I settled on in my first year of college. But by year two, I was like, okay, I'm going to study abroad. And a lot of people don't study abroad until later in their college years.
Yeah,
But
for
in
sure.
my
Like
first
senior
semester of
year.
sophomore year, yeah. So first
Wow.
semester sophomore year, I was like, let's go. So my roommate and I met her in my sorority. We were like, hey, let's do this together. So we went to Spain and I was there for 6 months and it completely changed everything because I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to explore different cultures. I just love meeting new people. I love talking to people. Like when you came in my inbox and we start having that conversation, like I feel like I know you, like you're my
Yep.
best friend now because
Same.
yeah, like I feel like we know so much about each other. We just met on Instagram, which is so cool because
Hmm.
that happens when you get to go to new places all the time. So that's kind of like fueled that passion. And then who knew, like, fast forward a decade later that I'd be traveling full time.
I love that. I love what you say about just how things kind of came together for you. So I always ask folks that I interview random questions, and sometimes it works out really well. Most times it does. I've had some great folks that I've interviewed in the past. So here's your random question,
Ready?
and don't kill me.
No.
Do you think because of like having divorced parents that sort of sparked your interest in like I feel like we either grow or we crumble when we go through something that's hard. So not to make you cry or get emotional, but like sometimes as a child, like seeing your parents divorce, like you could have taken that and it could have just spiraled into something really like negative. But it sounds like you took their divorce and it really fueled you now having an interest in travel because you took going back and forth on the weekends or going to different family members' houses, maybe not all together as a family, and you turned it into something that now is a big part of like what fuels your relationship with your husband. Like you're creating the new norm, I feel, in a sense, because of a painful place. Like, do I have that assessment? Like, am I assessing that right? Or do you feel like
Yeah.
that's off? Am I off base?
No, yeah, you're good. So from ages 0 to 7, they say that's when your impact is made on like how you see relationships, how you view the world. Like everything
Yeah.
is formed at that age, right? 0 to 7. And my parents got divorced when I was 6. So up until that point, I may have seen relationships in a certain way. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
things that I probably don't want to say because my mom's probably watching this, but I remember things like that it made me see relationships the way I saw them up until they got divorced and then they went into new relationships and I saw
Mm-hmm.
how happy they both were with these new
Mm-hmm.
relationships. So
Fair.
it made me realize like, hey, I have more family now, right? My dad ended up remarrying and having 2 more kids. My
Well,
mom remarried, and I have a stepsister who's actually getting married in May, and like
oh,
she's my
congrats.
sister, right? Like I've
Yeah,
known her
yeah,
since
yeah.
I was 7, 8 years old. But this is just, it's cool now that I get to see how families can expand. And it was also a really cool thing for me at a young age to just understand when people just may not be happy in the relationship that they're in and how
Yeah.
they can still be happy. So that gave me, I mean, at first, honestly, like my husband and I, we've been together for what, like 9 years now? So he's right there.
I love that he's right there.
We've been together for 9 years. We've been married for a little over a year. But at first, we had to grow through a lot of things together. We started
Yeah.
dating when we were like 24. So like I had a lot of insecurities that stemmed from that ages 0 to 7 that we
Yeah.
had to just work on together. And then it definitely made us stronger as a couple. And it definitely opened my eyes to what I truly want in my life.
I love that. And now you're building it, you know? And so hopefully this encourages everybody who's listening out there who's maybe gone through a hard time, whether it was like in early stages, like that 0 to 7 time frame that you mentioned, or now as an adult. Like it can be the thing that fuels how you want to live, right? Taking it and turning into something good. So I love that you were really walking that out. And thank you for being transparent. I know I put you on the spot and that wasn't one of the questions, but
Keep doing it.
thank
I'm good. I
you.
get it.
So okay, so thinking like, do you remember your first time traveling away from home? I know, like, again, you said you bounced between houses, but like, was there anything that stood out to you as far as like traveling away from home? Who were you with? What did you do? What did that look like?
Yeah, so like the most memorable trips for me was like Disney World. Like we would go to Disney World once a year. Sometimes I flew by myself. Sometimes I flew with my brother. Sometimes I flew with my mom to my grandparents' house out in Florida. So that was always like a big, honestly, I remember that happening every year for a very long time of my childhood and then growing up into my teenage years and then senior trip, we get to go to Disney World. New
Hmm.
Jersey people go to Disney World. So that's just like something that stuck out to me. And it's kind of funny. And I didn't even think about that until this question because we're at Disney right now, like
Oh,
literally. We're
fun.
10 minutes away. I don't know if that's like a thing, but my husband and I just like, we love going together now. And I just remember like just being happy, like going on a plane and getting to go somewhere new. Like it kind of like, I think that feeling when you travel. Some people like to stay home, and I understand. But I
Hmm.
love the feeling of the escapism. Like travel is like an escapism, right? So
Yep.
no matter what's going on in your life, like divorced parents, or like maybe I
Hmm.
had some really bad friendships growing up. I had a lot of like childhood things happening. It allowed me to escape from that current situation to let me
Yes.
just be free to be myself. So just
Yes.
remembering that feeling that I felt is everything. And that's what I tell everyone. Like, as far as like, I have a team now, I work on network marketing. So I tell my team, like, have that dream for yourself, for your
Yep.
future, because it's whatever that feeling is, like whatever you want on your dream board or whatever you want for, like, say, traveling full time is your goal. It's not the act of like getting in the car and then going to the airport. It's the feeling associated with it. And that's how you connect
That's
closer to
so
those
good.
feelings. And that's how that from my childhood, that first trip or those multiple trips to like Disney
Yep.
inspired me to just want to always have that feeling.
That is so good because not everyone has the means or the time. We have 3 kids. We just had another baby in August. Like we might not be able to just like pack up the house and go, right? Or
Yep.
not the whole house, but pack up the kids and go. So thinking about that, it's not about necessarily going someplace or but creating that escapism feeling at home, whether that's like setting up Japan in our living room and eating Japanese food and like watching a movie. Like we can create that for ourselves. And that's so inspiring as we come into 2023. So thank you for sharing that. So Okay, this is a good segue. When did you think about like wanting to become a travel blogger as well? Since you talk about that feeling, like what was it that made you want to kind of move into this travel blogging space?
So that's just, there's a series of things in my life that just sometimes just add up to I say it's like divine alignment, because
Hmm.
it was never an intention. I was never like, oh, I'm going to be a travel blogger one day. Like I said before, I didn't even know if I wanted to be a teacher or a financial advisor. Okay. So like, I'm just like, okay, let's do the things that make me happy. And what I love to like make other people happy too. That's like my love language is gift
I can
giving.
tell you guys are so funny.
I will.
I was showing John, I'm like, look at how funny they are. Your videos are like so funny.
I mean, 8 years ago, Brett would never have gotten camera with me. So that's for growth, okay? But seriously, like just that. What was I just saying? Oh, travel blogger. Yeah.
Yep,
So
sorry.
sorry. This is me, squirrel. I never said I wanted to be a travel blogger, but I said I wanted to just have fun on social media. And since I have been in network marketing for 6 years, a way that I can connect with people is online. So I started being super consistent, and that's gonna go into more of the questions that we have later about
Yes.
how to grow your social media. But being super, super consistent is 100% how I've gotten to the spot where I was like, hey, I am now, maybe getting paid to go places, or now I'm actually like documenting more of our life. I notice
Hmm.
people are super nosy on the internet, and they want to see all of the
They
things. They
are.
want to see everything.
Yeah.
So I got away from the shy feeling of, I mean, I wouldn't even have went live in my first 6 months in network marketing. I was such a very like introverted person, and that passion for like
Yeah.
talking to people, serving people, having fun, that fueled my extrovertedness, and that allowed me to show up in a way online that became that travel blog, basically.
Okay. That was really good. So I have another question because my brain is always on squirrely, just like you. Hi, squirrel. Nice to meet you. Um, so, okay. So I saw that you switched businesses,
Hmm.
and I saw like, because I do follow your post, I was just like,
Hmm.
she's perfect, just like a great human being. So I saw that you switched businesses, and in the process of switching business, you talked about like how some folks have kind of been a little frustrated maybe by you changing businesses. Can you tell us about that? And how can someone sort of step out on faith and like take the risk that they want to take and not think about what other people think as they're moving from? Because I actually came from a similar situation last year. I was part of like a specific business, and I signed up under this like great coach, and everything was fantastic and she was great. But then I had a knee injury, and I just realized like this doesn't align necessarily with who I want to be long term. Great business, great organization, just not for me. And like I realized like, so how can people, whether it's in network marketing or their corporate job, like how can they move from one space to what really aligns with like their core values as
Yeah.
well? What did those
So
steps look like for you, I guess?
yeah, so like this is different. Obviously, in a marriage, you love one person and you're with that person. You're not
Hmm.
supposed to be astray anywhere else. But in your life, you can love multiple things. You can be an amazing mom and love being a mom, but also love to go out on Friday nights with your girlfriends. Like you can do multiple things. So just like in a business, just like in a corporate job, I was just saying this to my husband yesterday. When I was working at Campbell's Soup, that was my last 9 to 5 job. I was working at Campbell's Soup, and I would have never got looked at in a bad way if I decided to take a job at Progresso, a competing
Hmm.
soup company, right? Like no one, I still have friends from Campbell's. Like I have a
Yeah,
lot of friends I still text on a regular basis. They would have not gotten mad at me if I took a job at a competing soup company. It's
exactly.
just for some reason, it's the network marketing industry. People think you just have to be with one company your entire life, and that's it. I love the company that I was with before. I still use their products. I love it so much, but there was something that was just pulling me to this new opportunity. And being a person who loves to help other people and loves to like see other people win, that's a huge thing for me.
Hmm.
It was in my best interest for my closest friends to win at this new place. And if you have that gut feeling, and like you were just saying, you weren't aligned in that wherever you were before. If you have
Hmm.
that alignment feeling where everything comes in together, there's moments in your life when you hear the same thing more than once, or
Yep.
you see the same thing more than once, and you realize it was meant to happen that way. And that is what I led myself to going towards. Like you said, faith over fear. And
Yeah.
that's been my motto for 6 years. I mean, I always say faith over fear, because everything's scary. Fear is never going to go away. Just like when I was younger, and I had no idea like what house I was going to be at or what town I was going to be in or the new friends I was going to have to make. Of course I was afraid, but I had the faith that it was all for the right reasons. Maybe not at that time when I was younger, but now I know that even if I take that scary step forward into something completely wrong, like off base, like completely new, that I'm going to have that faith that I'm going to be successful in it, because look at my track record. I tell everyone this, look, if you're successful in anything, right? Like you can look back at what you've already accomplished. You went to school, you went to that first job, you succeeded that first date, you got married, like all these things you look back that you accomplished and you did, that was because of you. So as long as you have yourself and you love yourself along the journey, you focus on that faith over the fear and it will get you there.
I love it. Okay, another curveball. I know we only have 13 minutes, so I'm going to try. We always have to do like a fireball round where I just spew off questions.
I'll try to
I always get off base. So you talk about loving yourself. Like, how can people start to love themselves? Give me like the top 3 for you, Courtney. Like, what are the 3 things you have always done, or maybe recently in the past like 5 years, you don't fail doing these 3 things? It doesn't have to be 3. It could just be 1. But like, what are like your top 3 toward like loving yourself?
So when I'm not loving myself, I know what I'm not doing, and that's saying, like when I'm having any like those moments where the fear is overtaking, and my husband's like, "Did you work out today? Did you go out? Did you get off your phone and go outside and get fresh air?" So I know what to do based on my own experiences, right? Whenever anyone, this is like a inside scoop, guys. Whenever anyone gives you advice, it's because they've gone through it themselves, usually, and most likely they're still going through a lot of these things. So for me, I have to like move my body. I have to get outside. Thankfully, I have an amazing husband who's like, let's go for a walk. When you move your body, you change your mind, and that's so true. And when you start to change your mind, that's when you start to change your bank account. So if you're trying to build a business, or you're trying to like get into travel blogging, or if you're trying to conquer your network marketing business, whatever it is for you, when you do these things such as get up and move your body, whether you just dance really quickly or just like boost up your energy and your endorphins, or you go outside for a walk for fresh air and get that vitamin C and everything, right? You're going to be you're going to be able to start changing your mind. And then to change your mind, one huge thing, I do personal development. I'm sure like a lot of people that will talk on here will say that personal development is like a non-negotiable. I have to listen to a podcast like Ed Millett. I love listening to his podcast. Jessie Lee is another person. I just love listening to her stuff on the internet. There's so many people out there like Tony Robbins, people like that you can just learn from. And it really helps you start seeing things in a different perspective, because sometimes we get stuck in like the way we see things, right? Only this is the way it is. No one's going to change my mind. It isn't until you hear from someone else and it edifies like, oh, wow. Okay. I was seeing this wrong. Let me look at it differently, change your mind. And then that's when the effects happen of changing your life completely, where it can change your bank account.
I love it. So moving your body. Yeah. Listening to podcasts.
Affirmation too. Affirmation is the big one. Every goal I've ever set for myself, we always put like Post-it notes in the bathroom mirror. So we would always look in the mirror and repeat it when we see it.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Okay. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to do a part 2. I'm
ready.
Just putting it out there already, because I have so many questions from the marital standpoint, right? Like his goals, your goals. I saw you kind of moved into like a company that he's focused on like wellness and health and all that. So like, so many questions for the future, but okay. So let's get back on track. So can you share more about getting your travel blogging online presence set up? What risks did you have to take? How did you kind of get set up and started? Because you do have immense success. I was looking at one of your posts that was like hilarious, and you're like getting a lot of views on your post, Courtney, honestly. Like you're killing it. So give us like an insider secret and not the stuff that everybody says. So you can take a minute and pause and think about like, what's your secret sauce?
Video content. I was like, video content. That is it. Every platform out there. YouTube Shorts, Pinterest, idea pins, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, TikToks. That's the number one thing that people want to see. They want to see small, digestible content. So anywhere from like 7 to 15 seconds is a sweet spot. If you're storytelling, like showing people, taking people on a journey with you, use the word like come with me in the beginning of your video, because that's going to bring people along with you. So whenever you see my videos with like right now we're working for Thousand Trails, and we're like showing tiny homes. So every video I'm usually like, come with me as we explore this tiny home, or let's go check this out together. We just went to Chicago a couple months ago, and I'm like, come with me to this haunted like Halloween patch. So whenever you use those words, people feel like they're a part of the video with you. Talking to one person, not everyone, not like, hey guys. That's something I have 100%.
I do that all the time.
I do it. I still do.
Oh
I'm like very much trying, but this is a huge thing. If we can take that video on even on our stories, and we go from, hey guys, hey friends, to hi, how are you? Because that person on the other side of the screen wants to feel like they're next to you. Exactly. And if you're talking like, hey friends, hey guys, they're like, oh, she's not talking to just me. Yeah. That's like something I definitely need to work on more, but I've been getting a lot better at it in the last couple months. But video content in general, like Instagram Reels, I used to get nothing. Like my videos used to never be seen. I did was it TikTok and Instagram around 6 weeks. So if you can be like super consistent, posting every single day for like, let's just do 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh my gosh, TikTok, every day?
Yeah, every day. I know it's a lot, but I promise you, if it's something that you want to like explode your Instagram or your TikTok strategy, every single day for 4 to 6 weeks, that's the sweet spot I found. I did it twice. That I actually blew up a second TikTok account just this summer by doing this same exact thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I did 3 videos. This is scary. This is a lot, but I did 3 videos a day on TikTok for that long, and both accounts I did that with exploded, viral videos. And then you have people following you, and then you can lead generate into whatever your business is about, right? So Instagram, I just did 1 every day because I didn't want to be super spammy on Instagram. 1 every day, and now my views for the last month just on Instagram Reels is 23 million.
Yeah, you've been killing it. I've been watching. I'm like, she's really good.
But it took me a while.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Everybody wants like these instant results. They don't realize all of the work, time, and attention, and like consistency that goes into it. So thanks for sharing the secret sauce. So what did it look like to get it set up initially, though? I know you said like you weren't getting a lot of views initially. Did you come into like the IG social media world in network marketing, or were you not with network marketing because I know you said you like to make people like smile, and so
yeah.
What did that look like when you first started?
That much. Yeah, before network marketing 6 years ago, you probably see me like a random status like Courtney is sleeping. Back in the day. Why did I tell people that I was sleeping? I have no idea. And how did I type that while I was sleeping? Anyway, but that's what I would do. I would use Facebook. I mean Instagram. What you told me to go to bed. I can't go to bed. Courtney is sleeping. Hold on, be right back. But
we would all be embarrassed by our early posts and things.
Yeah, like Courtney's at the Phillies game. I was like, why did I do this? Anyway, but that's what I use Facebook for. Nothing important at all. I barely post it. So anyone can start from nothing. I had 200 Facebook friends. Instagram, I had like 50 followers, and I post it random, like everyone used to go on Instagram for the filters. So I'd go on there, post my picture with the filter. But that was it. Like I started with nothing. I didn't have TikTok. TikTok wasn't a thing until 2020, honestly.
Right.
It got really big. So it was just starting from scratch, and it just had to be that momentum and that consistency. So if you are starting from nothing, like 0 followers, let's just say you're starting your brand new TikTok today, your brand new Instagram, it is 100% about doing it every day and being consistent. And you can batch things and make them in advance. So like on Sundays, you can make a ton of videos and then just get them ready for the entire week. I don't know if TikTok still has it, but in the summer they had, if you go to TikTok.com, you can schedule out your videos and then schedule them to post for you. I don't think Instagram probably has something like that too. But another thing I did to like save time was I made a lot of blank videos. Like I would just make tons of videos, save them like no words on them at all. Just like pointing and like dancing around, and then I would save it as a blank video in my camera roll on my phone. So whenever I have days where I just don't feel like getting ready, or I don't feel like, making a new video, I would just grab it and I put words on it.
I love it. Okay, so fire round. We have 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Thank you so much for all the time. No, don't be sorry. You're giving away gems right now. Really quick question. What does a typical day in the life of Courtney look like? Because you're traveling, you're hanging out. How do you make time for like you and your husband? Like what does every day look like for you?
Yeah. So with the whole like expansion on social media and getting more into the travel space, 2 years ago, we bought a motorhome and we started traveling in an RV. So we did that for 2 years and now we're
Wow.
doing the tiny home thing. So along the way, people started following just that because I'm consistent with it every day. And
Hmm.
that allowed me to start reaching out to brands. And that's how I kind of became like a travel blogger paid influencer, because brands would pay to be a part of our videos or be a part of that journey. So part of my day is outreach to brands. Like that's part of like something that
Wow.
I love to do. Like that I love it. Like I love working with brands. We just did a couple of videos last week. We've created some more over the weekend that are coming in the next couple of weeks. So I love doing that kind of stuff. And that's a really good way to just make some extra income. If you're going to be super consistent on social media, you might as well. Me being super consistent on social media led to me getting Instagram and Facebook Reels bonuses. So that's extra income there. So I'm
Hmm.
very, very consistent on it even more because I'm getting paid for it as well. So that's just something added perks as you guys start doing that too. So my typical day is I love doing video content. So at one point in the day, we try to make some videos together. We do try to do some things together. I have random ideas like we're on the same level with the squirrelness. So if I have a squirrel
Yeah.
moment and I'm like, heck yeah, I want to go do that really quick, I'll make the video and do it before I forget. But I have a huge team right now on social media as far as like for my network marketing
Hmm.
business. So I'm talking to them the majority of my day. That's like helping
Wow.
other people apart. As far as my own personal like work for my own business, I have a virtual assistant. So I kind of have,
I was
I
gonna
have
ask that.
yeah. Yeah. I have someone that I check in with and talk to every single day. And she goes and does a lot of the things that I wanted to offload. So that helps me free up time to go for the walk with my husband or take a break to do a workout or we're going to have dinner after this, have dinner. And then I have a meeting at 9 o'clock tonight. So I have a little gap in between that we can hang out. We watch Grey's Anatomy. That's our
I love
thing.
it. So
So
do
that's,
either of you, real quick question, do
yeah.
either of you have corporate jobs? I know
No,
you were at Campbell Soup. Now you're no longer there. Do either of you work jobs outside of what you're doing right now?
no, I retired Brett in 2020.
I'm right. I'm saying wow with my mouth.
He hasn't worked in the corporate world since 2020, but this year he got his certificate in nutrition and fitness coaching. So he was working at a gym for 6 months this year,
Oh my
just
gosh.
because he wanted to, not because he had to. And now we're
Fun.
on the road in Florida, so he's gonna start hopefully doing something virtually.
Oh my gosh. So exciting. Congratulations. Seriously. Um, yeah, I'm gonna DM you after this so we can talk about 2023 schedule.
Yeah.
Yes. I literally have so many questions and I feel like people don't have like their girl pal that they can reach out to and say, "Hey, can you tell me about this?" Because first of all, people get scared and like shy to actually reach out and ask these questions. And secondly, I think everyone just wants to figure it out on their own when like there's somebody who's actually figured it out. So why don't we lean on each other and help one another? Because there's always ways to help each other. Okay, so let's run through it. How have you grown your business and socials? I think you talked about that in
Consistency.
depth, like how to grow
Yeah.
consistency. How do you stray away from comparing your journey to that of other travel bloggers? Like
I,
this is one that I really want to know. How do
I
you
don't even
do it
look.
though?
I
Okay,
don't
so
even
you
look
don't
at
even look.
anybody's stuff. Yeah.
Do you follow other travel bloggers? I know we talked about this a little bit, but like, is there anybody that you follow that's doing the same, or I wouldn't want to say better, we all have our path, but like, is there anybody that you follow and you're like, oh my gosh, I actually heard somebody say this, like sometimes you have to unfollow people because if you continue to follow somebody that like makes you compare yourself, then it's self-deprecating basically. So
Yeah.
like, what do you
Comparison's the
do?
joy.
Yeah. Like, have you
Yeah.
ever been in a position of comparison and like, what did you do to get out of it?
Yeah, I unfollow or I just like delete them from my social media. Sorry, but I do. I've done that for a long time because comparison is the thief of joy. So like
It
if you're
is.
looking left and right, how are you expected to go straight? Like you're always going to be
Yep.
constantly looking left and right. The GPS in your car is going to be confused to go straight to your goal. So
It's true.
I use my For You page on TikTok. Every video that you spend time watching on TikTok or liking, you are going to get more videos like that. So that my For You page is my research. If you go to answerthepublic.com, it's a website.
I
You can,
do. Yeah, I
yeah,
go
you
on
can
there a
find
lot.
out what people are talking about as far as travel or couples humor or whatever you want to be talking about in your niche. So just like doing that, and I use TikTok time, TikTok time at nighttime before bed as like being the person who, and TikTok is designed for consumers. right? Consumers to get on the app and spend 20 million hours on there and never get off. But I look at TikTok as I am the business owner and I'm the person who is researching the content. So my husband and I will literally scroll through our For You page, maybe for like 20 minutes or 15 minutes because it's our fun time. But we send each other videos that we like the idea of just so we can get inspired to create.
I love that. It's about inspiration, not duplication, right? So it's like, how can you use what you're seeing to inspire you and not make you go into like a spiral of comparison and duplicating the exact same thing, but taking your own personal spin on it. What's one thing you've learned? One big thing you've learned? Can I have like 2 more minutes? I know you're going to dinner,
oh no,
so I'll be
I'm
really
good till 9 o'clock actually.
Okay, cool. What's one thing that you've learned being a travel blogger? And do you really identify as a travel blogger? I know that's how we kind of marketed this, but like, how does Courtney see Courtney? Like, how do you identify?
I don't even know what people to say when people ask me. I'm a business owner. I like to have fun on social media. People are like influencer, but I'm like, I don't feel like an influencer. I just feel like a person who I'm like hanging out with my friends online. I run a business online too. So yeah, I'm just myself. But I did write in my bio on Instagram, travel vlogger, because all of my stuff is like video content. So I would say I'm a vlogger. I like to document my life. But yeah, like, what was the question? How the journey, like?
Yeah. So what's one big thing that I actually forgot the question myself. I was like, what was the question, Taylor? But like, what's like one thing you've learned from this experience as a whole, being a travel vlogger and like your journey?
Yeah. So I learned that brands love people that are authentic to their audience. So just like if it's something that you want to do one day and you would love to travel full time and you're looking for a way to do that, you can 100% do that by just like being yourself and like talking to that audience. I think a lot of people online try to talk to millions of people at once, and like that goes back to the talking to the one person on your story. It's really important to like identify who your ideal person on the other end of the screen is going to be. What does she look like? How old is she or he, right? Like where are they from? Like if you start picking sorry people, if you start like looking at like, hey, I love this person, my ideal client is in their 30s and loves to travel and is married and has no children, you start putting content out on the internet that's focused on that person, and that's what you get more of as a return. So for me, for a while I talked to multiple millions of people and I think just lately in the last like couple months we've kind of niched down on like married couples, have dogs, travel, stuff like that.
Have dogs.
Have dogs. We don't have kids,
love
but one
day.
day.
I do feel like I know your dogs. And I did see your story post about that. You talked about like your family dynamic in 2023.
Yeah, hopefully have a baby by the end of the year.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't want to say it out loud. I'm like, I don't know if this is like just something that she shared to like a small group. Well, I'm sending you all the baby dust. Okay.
Thank you.
So receive it. I'm like, okay. Let's see. Do you have a favorite place that you've traveled? So now we're gonna rush through these, okay?
Okay.
Do you have a favorite place that you visited? What stood out to you about this place? Why is it your favorite? And are there any places still on your bucket list?
Yeah, so I love Utah. Like we have been.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, no, Utah's amazing. There's 5 national parks. And like when we started this journey in 2020, it was to get out of the house. And at that time, we couldn't really go many places because of, the world at that time.
Yep.
So national parks were open. So we bought the motorhome, sold our house, and that's when we started traveling around to all the national parks. Utah has the most national parks, and you have your hand up.
No.
You're going to say you love Utah too?
Yeah, I love Utah.
You guys are seriously like John and I. If John were sitting in here, he's upstairs with the kids so they don't ruin our lives, but he'd be talking in the background if
Brett's with the dogs right now so they don't bark all over this.
I love it. So Utah, and then where else is on your bucket list?
Alaska. We're going to be going this summer.
These are such random places. I would have never thought to travel to Alaska.
Well, I mean, what's normal bucket list people say? Like,
it's true.
Iceland, I've been there.
It's true. It's true.
I was like, I did it.
True.
I'm just kidding.
Can't be on my bucket list. I already crushed it.
But Alaska, we're going on a cruise this summer. My mom actually got us a gift for our wedding anniversary. So I'm ready.
Shout out to your mom. Shout out to Courtney's mom if you're watching. Okay, so are there any special projects you're currently working on that our audience should be aware of? My voice is cracking because we were sick, as you know, like last week. But yeah, any special projects? I know you just changed businesses. Is there anything else that you're like working on that we should know about and follow along with?
So I'm going to be loud and proud about my new business. I'm really excited about it. And not only that is we just started with the tiny home traveling. So Thousand Trails has a cabin pass. So you can literally get an annual membership for the year. I think it's a little less than $1,500, and there's no nightly fees, and you can stay at any of their 125 properties across the United States. So my goal for the next couple months, honestly, until my sister's wedding in May, is we're going to be documenting and highlighting these different properties with them in Florida, because that's where we like started first. But you can go all over. There's some in Washington State, like there's some all over the country. But it's that one fee for the annual membership, and then you can stay for 7 days at any of these places. There's tiny homes, there's yurts, there's cottages. We're actually going to be staying at one in like Key West on the water. So I cannot wait to show everyone that one. That's going to be coming up in the next couple months. So stay tuned.
Is it 7 days at multiple places too throughout the year?
Unlimited. You can go for the year.
This is
unlimited.
huge for a family like ours. That's like we're now a family of 5. So Thousand Trails, you said, right?
Yeah. So if you go to the link in my bio, I actually have a link to talk to a representative at Thousand Trails. It's like a Google Doc form. It'll go right to them. And then there's a link that takes you right to the membership that you can buy. But it's really cool because you can stay up to 7 days at places. So if you're a family that wants to, go to Disney, the one we're at right now is 10 minutes from Disney. So you can just have your car here and drive over to the park, and then there's 2 bedrooms here. So it's just me and my husband. We're like, what are we going to do with all these beds? But like for a family, we can bring our dogs. It's dog friendly. So there's 125 locations over the country. So we started becoming an influencer for them about 3 weeks ago. So this is our second property we're staying at with them.
Oh my gosh, huge. I'm going to put that in the show notes too for anyone who's interested. I'll put the link that Courtney mentioned as well. And I'm going to be looking at it for our family. 2023, we're big on like wanting to travel more. So like we might be seeing you on the road.
So when we had the RV, we stayed with them like they have an RV pass, but they just came out with the cabin option in the last 6 months because not everyone has a motorhome. So how else can we travel?
Yeah, I love it. Okay, awesome. What are you most excited about as we close out 2022?
Oh my gosh. New beginnings. Cheers to new beginnings. And just like, honestly, I feel like I'm just brand new right now, starting a new business. So I'm on fire with like just putting out more content, documenting our journey. This whole tiny home experience is really cool. Going from living in an RV 40-foot space to now like literally living out of our cars is just completely different. So it's really fun to document and share with everybody along the journey. And we're going to be getting a house hopefully by the end of next year, starting a family. So a lot of things to look forward to.
Oh man, part of me, I can't help but say this. Like part of me is kind of sad that you're going to be getting a house because what will it look like? Yeah, I guess that's a question I have for you. I'm happy you're getting a house, but what will that look like as far as your travels are concerned?
So we just started talking about like real estate investments in general. So the house may not just it's not going to be a permanent thing. I'm not a permanent kind of person, besides my marriage, of course.
Like, let's be clear.
But yeah, I know people write on my videos the funniest things. Once you like post a lot of stuff and your videos get seen a lot, you get a lot of comments that you may not even want to read. So Brett reads them and like deletes people for me. But people are
I've seen some rude ones. I'm like, people are so
cheating
stupid.
on him.
I'm like, people are so dumb. I've seen some, so then I'm like, I'm gonna post something happy.
I told you, it's people are nosy. People will love to see.
Oh my gosh.
When you post, this is another really good tip. A lot of people are like even nervous to make the video or make the post. People aren't even judging you. They're thinking of like themselves. Like, can I see myself wearing that shirt? Can I see myself going to that Disney vacation? So just put the content out. People are just worried about themselves and not even about you.
I love that. Like I've seen some of your comments and I'm like, this person's never been married before just by their comment. Like some of the stuff you post is so funny and I'm like, I can totally see me and John going through exactly what you posted. And I'm like, people are so dumb. Like, have you never been married?
Everything I post is a joke, okay? Everything I post is a joke. Everyone's so serious.
I mean, but some of it is true. It can be the thing. Some of the things you post can be the things that make or break a marriage if you don't have a sense of humor and you can't laugh through it and say like, okay, we're
and that's how you know you found the right person, right? That you can like laugh with them about these things. Even these people on the internet, you're like, oh, let's laugh at this comment together because they have no idea.
Exactly. Okay, cool.
But
So we'll
yeah, oh
be
yeah,
looking out for
permanency of
your
the
real
house.
estate. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're going to be traveling internationally again. So we were always, that was what Brett and I did. We would like go on those couple vacations a year, take off PTO from our jobs and travel internationally. 2020 hit, we couldn't do that anymore. And then my business kind of took off at that moment as an entrepreneur. So I was like, hey, we're good now. You can even leave your job. And then he
Oh
left
my
his
gosh.
job. We bought the motorhome, sold our house, started doing that. But it was never like a, hey, let's get a motorhome thing. It was, at this moment, we can't go internationally and we have not
Yeah.
even explored our own backyard. So let's go explore the United States for the next couple of years. So our ultimate goal has always been to start traveling full-time internationally again.
That is so inspiring. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Every 2 months, sorry. We made
I'm
an agreement.
I'm so I'm so impressed though, honestly, because I would love to just be on the road. I think it feels so unattainable, but the way you communicate it makes it feel like it's within reach, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's why we have to share our stories. Like we have to make it so that things are within reach for people. And I love this. Okay.
I was say I have
Say,
even my brother who had the same grown up background, like, same childhood as me. He's more of a person that's like, I need a secure job. I need to know I'm working until I'm 50 or whatever. And
mhm,
I can't even travel. I can't even afford it. I'm like, you can, you
yeah.
can. It's not that much money. You can do it.
Yeah. So
So
okay. So how do you afford it? Tell
yeah.
people.
So honestly, you can find deals. Like I post on my TikTok a lot. I should start doing it more, but I started doing like travel deals, like how to find airfare for like $60 round trip. Like we went to Iceland for $250, $300 round trip. We went to Barcelona, Spain for less than $400 round trip. So like
But wait,
airfare.
Courtney, wait. But were your legs cramped? Were you able to walk when you got off the plane?
Yes, we were not on Frontier. They don't go
Okay, you
international.
know that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no. We were on a normal plane for Iceland and
Okay.
but there's tons
Anytime
of really
someone says
good.
that, I'm just thinking like, man, their legs have to hurt by the
No,
time they're
no,
like,
yeah. So if you go in to the same link in my bio, I put everything there. There's a tab I made called Save Money with these links. And there's one called Scott's Cheap Flights, and it's a newsletter and it's free. And you literally sign up for it and you put your home airport and he tells you, like, I just got, I have before like a $700 round trip, like first class tickets to like somewhere. Right. So like we went
oh
to
my
Canada,
gosh.
or it was Canada, but I was like, do you see deals like that? And you're like, heck yeah, like people can afford it. It's just you're grown up in a way to think that travel is a luxury. And
Hmm.
there's so many budget travel bloggers and people out there giving tips. I try to do it a lot on my TikTok, but I definitely need to do it more.
Okay, well, we'll be watching your TikTok. So this is giving
Got
you
it.
some fire for
Got it.
2023. Last question. Do you have a favorite mantra or quote that you live by? And then how can people connect with you? I'm sad this is over. I'm mourning our interview. You have so much like
Where's my glass of
personality.
wine? I just need to have a glass of wine now. I'm ready. Yeah. So honestly, when I first like started becoming more, I started network marketing as just a side gig type of mindset of, I was going to stay at Campbell's forever and rise the ranks of the company and blah, blah, blah. And things changed over the next couple of years, like leaning more into my personal development. And my friend, who is my best friend, I'm the godmother of her son, and like she was doing this business with me at the time, and she gave me as a gift one year a sign. It was Matthew, I have it written down because I remember, it was Matthew 17:20, and it says, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can move mountains.
Move
And
mountains.
I put it on my wall, and that was on my wall in tons of my pictures for like
Oh,
that first year when my business went from a side hobby to being a, over like 6-figure annual income. And it was just something that I didn't even think was possible until I started believing in myself. And that faith over fear, which I love the name of your series, because like even just having the word faith in there, that was something I said all the time. Like I said that all the time while I was doing things that were really hard, and being consistent even when I didn't want to be consistent, and not feeling well but still like getting out there and doing something
that's so
for
good.
my phone, right? It's travel blogging or having a business, it's from your phone. So I just had to show up even if I didn't feel like I could at that time. So that faith over the fear, and just realizing that small faith, as small as a mustard seed, can move mountains. And it truly did in my life, and it continues to keep doing that.
I love it. Praise God.
Yeah.
Like emoji praise hands. And I love having another fellow believer. I have people from all walks of life on here. I mean, I'm not assuming you're a believer. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't, maybe your friend's just a believer, but like I have friends from all walks of life that join this series because I do think we're all making faith-based decision making, whether you're a believer or not. So
Yeah.
I just want to say like thank you for just sharing. And Monica's giving, like, everybody's giving emoji praise hands.
Monica.
Praise.
I
I'm
love
like,
her.
as we walk into 2023, you know, there's so much for us to be like grateful for and thankful for and just lean into as far as like our faith and making faith-based decisions. So you've really inspired me. I feel pumped for the new year. Happy New Year. Seriously, Courtney, thank you for taking the time and even taking extra time just to chat with me and let me pick your brain. And I'm excited to see all that you're going to do. I'm sending you all the baby dust.
Thanks.
And
I
I'm
was gonna say
proud of
sending it
you.
back at you, but
I'm like, girl, no. I'm like, you keep talking.
you're like, I'm good.
I'm good for right now. I need to recover.
Like,
Oh
that would
my
be
God. Well, thank you again, and I'll talk with you soon.
Yeah.
And if for anyone who's listening, I'll have the show notes on my blog, thetaylorisms.org. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to pull out some of the key details that Courtney shared today and put it in that blog post, which will be rich in content because you are just a wealth of knowledge. So thank you for all of everything.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye, everyone. Happy